For generations, there's been this one toy that just sparks imagination like nothing else. From simple little houses to these massive, sprawling cities and spaceships, those colorful plastic bricks are just an absolute icon of childhood. But the story of Lego? Oh, it is so much more than just child's play. It's this incredible tale of innovation, a totally devastating collapse, and honestly, one of the greatest comebacks in business history. And the whole thing really revolves around one central question.
And this is it. This is the big one we're digging into. How in the world did a company that seemed completely untouchable, a brand that was basically synonymous with quality and creativity, find itself on the absolute edge of total failure? The answer is, well, it's a fascinating lesson in that tricky balance between sticking to what you're good at and trying new things.
And this is what the edge looks like. $800 million. In 2003, that's how much debt Lego was in. Think about that. They were losing over $1 million a day. The company that literally taught the world how to build was about to fall apart, brick by brick.
So, to really get how they ended up in such a mess, we have to go back, way back. We need to understand what made Lego so special in the first place. Because this isn't just a story about a toy. It's about a really simple idea, perfected over decades, that got its start in a very, very unlikely place. Okay, so our story kicks off right here. A small workshop in Billund, Denmark, right in the middle of the Great Depression. A master carpenter named Ole Kirk Christiansen was having a tough time selling furniture. So, what does he do? He starts using his scrap wood to make these really high-quality toys. So, in 1934, he gives his new company its name, Lego. And for years, they were famous for these beautifully crafted wooden toys. But Ole, he was a real visionary. In 1947, he took this massive risk and bought the very first plastic injection molding machine in all of Denmark. He was basically betting the entire company's future on this new material. And that name, Lego, you might be wondering where it came from. Well, it's from a Danish phrase, leg godt, which means play well. It's so simple, right? But that whole philosophy was baked right into the company's DNA from day one. It wasn't just about making toys, it was about making the whole experience of playing better. So by 1949, Lego starts producing these early plastic bricks. They were called automatic binding bricks. They could stack, which was pretty neat, but they had this one critical flaw. Because they were totally hollow on the bottom, there was absolutely nothing to make them grip. If you tried to pick up something you built, the whole thing would just crumble in your hand. And this brings us to the single most important moment in Lego history. I'm not kidding. The one invention that would transform a simple stacking toy into a global phenomenon. And this breakthrough, it came from Ole's son, Godtfred Kirk Christiansen. Godtfred had this incredible light bulb moment back in 1954. He realized their toys weren't just a bunch of individual items. They needed to be part of a system. He had this vision of a world where any brick could connect with any other brick, which would unlock, truly endless creative possibilities. The solution was just brilliantly simple. So what did Godtfred's team do? They added these small hollow tubes to the inside of the brick. And these tubes were engineered to perfectly, and I mean perfectly, grip the studs of the brick below them. It was such an elegant and totally revolutionary design. And this created the magic ingredient, the secret sauce, clutch power. You know that satisfying click you feel when you press two bricks together? That's it. The connection is strong enough to build these really stable models, but just weak enough that a kid can still pull them apart. That perfect balance, well, that's the secret to everything. So you gotta remember this date, January 28th, 1958. That's the day Lego patented the stud and tube system. This wasn't just some small improvement. This was the birth of the Lego brick as we all know and love it today. Okay, so with the brick perfected, Lego wasn't just selling a product anymore. Nope. They were selling a platform for your imagination. The next couple of decades were all about expanding this universe of play. And they just kept building on this foundation piece by piece. In '62, bam, they invent the wheel, which completely changed the game. Then in '69, DUPLO comes along and brings toddlers into the system with bricks that are twice the size. And then, in 1978, the iconic minifigure shows up, giving Lego creations personality and a soul for the very first time. This kicked off a true golden age. The '80s were all about those three legendary themes: castle, space, and town. You know the ones. They even pushed into education with Mindstorms robotics. But then, in 1999, they made their most massive and maybe most controversial bet yet. licensing an outside property, Star Wars. The success was absolutely explosive, and it really seemed like nothing could stop that.
And this is where our story comes full circle. Riding high on the success of Star Wars, you'd think they were on top of the world, unstoppable. But, and this is the crazy part, it was that very success that pushed them right toward the crisis we started with.
So what went wrong? Well, first, they got way too distracted. They started putting the LEGO name on everything. I'm talking clothing, video games, even jewelry. It just diluted the brand. Second, they created this explosion of specialized one-off parts. It was a supply chain nightmare, and it made costs just skyrocket. Basically, they completely lost focus. They forgot about the simple power of the basic brick.
By 2004, the company is staring bankruptcy right in the face. They bring in a new CEO, a guy named Jürgen Vig Knutstorp. And he wasn't a toy maker, he was a business strategist. And his plan? It was radical because it was so simple. Go back to what made LEGO great in the first place.
His plan was just a masterclass in focus. Step 1. Simplify. He took a giant axe to the number of unique LEGO parts, slashing them in half, from over 12,000 down to around 6,000. Step 2. Refocus. He sold off things that weren't about the core product, including the LEGOLAND theme parks. And Step 3. Re-engage. He got the entire company laser-focused back on that simple core idea of building.
And the results? I mean, just look at this. They were absolutely stunning. To go on that journey from crushing debt in 2003 all the way to becoming the world's largest and most profitable toy company, it's truly one of the most remarkable turnarounds in modern business history.
The cherry on top, of course, was the LEGO movie in 2014. It wasn't just some film, It was a massive cultural moment. It was a celebration of the brand's core message. It reminded a whole generation what made LEGO so special: the power of creativity and the idea that everything is awesome when you build it yourself. Which really leaves us with this one final thought. LEGO was saved because it rediscovered its core principle, that clutch power of the simple brick. And it makes you wonder, right? For any project, any business, or any idea you might have, what's that one essential clutch power that holds it all together?